Let's get into some OF news. So apparently all those oppressed people out in Texas, they're in Texas, out there making a lot of money for the OF. So apparently, y'all know I guess it's illegal for y'all to be watching some of that adult cinematography. Well, they said that they pulled in a lot of money. I said, y'all a bunch of damn snitches. So now you think they're going to try? Well, I don't know how you're going to be able to prevent people from watching adult stuff. I mean, if you know a good VPN, you can get around all of that. But that's why I always say this government has yet to catch up with technology. So OF makes a lot of money, but apparently it made some serious bank last year thanks to the residents of Texas. According to newly released data by OnlyGuider, residents of the Lone Star State spent a whopping 248 million. 400, wait, did I say million? Oh yeah. Hold on, am I reading this wrong? Wait, I am reading right. So it's 248 million basically on OnlyFans, but it said 496,363.64. Why all of a sudden I was like, I was having a dyslexic moment. So let me read that again. It was $248,496,363.64. That was what it was saying. But I was all of a sudden, like my brain started going into this whole dyslexic phase, and it was like I couldn't read numbers. So So they said making it the second highest standing state after, or spending state after California, which came in with 350.6 million. Ooh, the people in California, y'all. But it's probably because a lot of you content creators live in California, and California is huge. It's funny how when you look at California and you look at Texas, those are two of like the largest states that we have, I would say, in the US. So it makes sense that those big spots would be the ones that would be accumulating a lot of people viewing a lot of porn. However, the jaw-dropping sum was attributed to Texas's large size, which is what I literally just said, large size and population, as it ranked number 21 among the highest spending U.S. states per capita, 79,415 per 10,000 residents. As far as the Texas cities that dropped the most money on OF content, Houston led the 2025 ranking with a total of 31,988,000. Dallas to the number two position with 26,172,000. Austin placed number three with $17,544,933.33. And San Antonio and Fort Worth rounded out the top five with $17,387,250 and $10,241,583.33, respectively. When it came to the global cities ranking, Houston came in at number 11 and Dallas at number 15. Now, according to OnlyGuider, OF ranked in a total of 7.2 billion in 2025, a 9% increase in 2024. Although the platform allows all kinds of creators to monetize their content, it is mostly used for adult-oriented photos and videos. Now, it's also worth knowing that in 2024, the pornographic platform Pornhub voluntarily blocked Texas residents from accessing its website. The decision was a response to the state's age verification mandates for adult content websites. Pornhub argued that the laws infringed on adults' rights to access free speech. Are they really giving speech over there when y'all be watching the videos, or is it just oohs and ahs? So now, as you may know, our elected officials in Texas are requiring us to verify your age before allowing to access our website. This is what the site wrote in 2024. Not only does this impinge on the rights of adults to access protected speech, it fails the strict scrutiny by employing the least effective and yet also most restrictive means for accomplishing Texas's stated purpose of allegedly protecting minors. Yeah, because they think, oh, we put age restrictions on it. That's supposed to protect minors. Let me tell you something. Even before OF and internets and all other stuff, I was an underage kid looking at adult stuff. I remember when I used to take a school bus to school, and there was this kid in my class. Look, we all grown. I can snitch at this point. This kid that I used to go to school with, Mark, used to come with a collection of adult magazines. on the bus, and we used to just sift through them and look at all the coochies and dicks and all that other stuff that was up in there, and was having a good old time watching the stuff. So, my thing is, what I'm basically saying is, if the kids are gonna find a way to look at the stuff, they're gonna find a way to look at the stuff. So you putting this age restriction thinking that's gonna be enough to keep the kids at bay is not. So I don't know what the real rub of, or the real point of them doing the restriction thing on that whole situation. It just seems like y'all just trying to make it seem like sex is a bad thing, and it's not. It's a part of life, and everybody does it that need to be doing it. But it is what it is. But I'm like, I'm not surprised by this because we act like such a sexually repressed country, and especially in certain states that bleed red, like Texas and Florida, where they just flipped a couple of seats over in Texas. So shout out to y'all. They tired of the BS over there with the Republicans. So now they done flipped a couple of seats to Democrats. So shout out to y'all for that. Hopefully they'll go in and do the job that this other administration hasn't been doing, or the Republicans haven't been doing. I'm just thinking it's just you're just gonna get a seat and just sit in it and don't do nothing. But I'm not surprised that all this other stuff will make people want to go, you know what? I need to, you repress people from sex and stuff. All it's going to do is make people want to go out and look for the thing. And you tell somebody no, they can't do something, it's going to make them want to do it. So if you make adult stuff accessible for those of us who are old enough to be able to look at it, then, and not put such a stigma on sex, then people wouldn't be going out seeking for this, for sexual content. But the minute you try to be like, no, that's bad, it's nasty, it's wrong, it only forces or pushes people to kind of seek it out more. So, little reverse psychologies. But shout out to you, OF. You out here doing y'all thing, making money. And I wonder how JF Just for Fans is doing and all the other ones. Well, we already know what happened on For My Fans because the person that created that is currently rotting in prison. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding OF and how much coins they done pulled in, based off of, places like Texas and Florida? And also they mentioned LA, but some people think, LA is very liberal. There are parts of LA that are conservative, and there's parts of LA that are pretty much liberal. New York as well. We have conservative parts of New York, and we have liberal parts of New York. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.